part of Mount Makiling Forest Reserve, which has been designated as an ASEAN Heritage Park and is the largest botanical gardens in the Philippines. The Makiling Botanic Gardens is a botanical park located inside the campus of University of the Philippines, Los Baños in Laguna. Measuring around 4,200 square hectares, of which 300 hectares are under the auspices of the Makiling Botanic Gardens. The park is dedicated to the preservation of endemic plant and tree species in the Philippines, and it is administered by the UPLB College of Forestry and Natural Resources. The designation of the mountain complex as a forest reserve dates back to the American period. By the virtue of Act 1989 by the Philippine Commission and followed in during the 1950s, the then Bureau of Forestry, now Forest Management Bureau, established plantations of trees endemic only to the Philippines that provide economic and aesthetic value to the people. It is indeed remarkable how the sanctuaries exist amidst the hustling environment that exists around its perimeter. Seeing the effort that it must take for the people to truly assert the importance of not just the wildlife within the Makiling Botanical Garden, there's also the endless effort in maintaining the totality of the area itself. And yet, even with the effort of the government and of the people in order to preserve areas that primarily serve to protect and conserve the wildlife that is abundantly present in this country, human intervention and actions affecting the environment surrounding the premises do play a role on how it changes the vitality of the area. Some may not be as visible as the other types of the environmental quizzes that we see on a normal basis. So there must be a consistency in the knowledge we know of the area and learn more on how we can, as individuals, outside the institution that dedicated to the conservation and protection of the environment, promote actions that can benefit the forest as well as the creatures that thrive in the lands itself. It can be assumed that the Makiling Botanic Garden is susceptible to different environmental stresses, ranging from human activities to sporadic changes in climate. An example here is anthropogenic stressors, bringing natural ecosystems to the brink of degradation which affects the productivity of species living within it. In a forest park like the Makiling Botanical Gardens, visitor disturbances such as producing noise or making unnecessary movements can affect the means of foraging, especially for the animals living in the forest ecosystem. Picnic areas may be designated within different areas of the park. Visitors should still be mindful of their actions and must ensure to leave the areas clean. In addition to leisure in these areas, names were given and pathways were erected to give visitors access to places that have specific biodiversity growing in large plots of land. One of these is the Dipterocarp Arboretum, the oldest arboretum containing 7 genera of the 7 species of Dipterocarpaceae. As this houses different types of life and contributes to the nutrient cycle of the ecosystem within and surrounding the Makiling Botanic Garden, this can still face inevitable challenges contributing to land erosion and harm to the species that live within its reach. Human intervention, pathway construction, visitor picking up leaves, flowers, and other vegetation, and climate changes led to drastic changes in the arboretum. Despite being protected by man, some of the land should have remained unmarred and left to be observed from afar while contributing aid when it's necessary to do so. Polluting the area may also come under this type, which includes throwing trashes, or chemicals in the soil, or the creek found inside the forest reserve, we can also consider the pollution that comes from urban areas to be detrimental to the Makiling Forest ecosystem, considering its proximity to Metro Manila and its suburbs. The environment that we live in isn't something so simple as a staple provider of our needs day by day. It is where life had come from its origin. What evolution had forethought to our civilization. The foundation of our society is closely derived from how nature had sustained its existence that then gave aid to the establishment of the world we revolve around today. Our environment can simply live on its own without our intervention, but we would stand hopeless if not for the greeneries that had provided for us since time memorial. And as we can see today, the damage that nature had taken from our actions had left scars that would take time to heal. Some are unaware of its effect once the erosion ripples back to us tenfold. But it isn't too late for us to do our part in helping back in rectifying the once vitality of our nature. As to what we have seen from how the people of the Makiling Botanic Garden had consistently done their part in preserving the rich lands of life, we, as individuals as well, can do our part. By simply picking up on what we left in areas where we go through the vast forestry, by observing proper guidelines provided by the establishment as we appreciate and do not disturb the regions that the place holds, by being critically aware as to how our actions may affect the general condition of selected areas in the forest. These are simply ways one can take note of. But our capabilities can go beyond boundaries, and we can do more than in protecting the gardens. And sooner or later, this can extend to the same environment that you live in every day. Protecting our environment doesn't end with words declared with empty resolve. Every minute is just as important, and we shouldn't be exclusive of what area we must focus on. Indeed, we can do our part in the preservation of the gardens, but be reminded that our actions must extend out of the gardens that are manifest thoroughly in our day-to-day lives. If nature had never once been exclusive to us, humans then, we must be all-encompassing to it as well.